Here we go. Olivia, look at me. 98.6. She doesn't know. No idea what it is.
I don't know what that is.
It's body temperature. It's like I'm taking the temperature of the guitar.
Alright. I get it now.
All right, yeah.
I get it now.
Okay, we're already live, just so you know. Hey, look at that. I even have an outline for this. Fabulous.
That's good.
Everybody's white.
You got your thing. I got my thing.
Is this?
I have all the cat boats we can use. That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. I even have a book. They let me have a book. Isn't this
This
amazing?
one's my book.
That's your book. That's right.
That's my book.
Good morning, everybody. If you can find your way to a seat. Yeah. All right. We're on. Okay, just a second. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and welcome. Just a couple of words. If you could silence your phones, or even, I know, Chas v'Chalila, turn them off. Some of them, I'm led to believe, have power settings. And to refrain from photography during the service, that would be wonderful. If you are unfamiliar with Jewish worship and you've not been here before, I'm just going to go through a couple of things before we get started. The page numbers that we're going to be using are the ones that you'll see in black, not in blue. So the black page numbers are the ones that we'll be calling out as you follow through. If you can't see the difference between the black and the blue ones, I have an excellent optometrist I can recommend for you. It's true. You'll note, too, that the pages turn from right to left as normal pages do. They're not reversed the way we have in English. I'm pretty sure Jews have been turning pages this way longer. I'm pretty sure. I think that's about it. And feel free to sing along with anything. If you're not sure what to sing, it's okay to say la, 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 or make some such Jewish noise at any point that you choose. All right. So we are here to celebrate many things. Shabbat, of course, our day of rest, and we celebrate Olivia being called to the Torah Zebat Mitzvah today. And we begin with Hine Matov. You can find the words. They're not just in my head. One moment. 1 second. There we go. You can find them on page 10 if you're looking for them. On page 170, Modeh or Modah Ani, as the case may be, we give thanks to God that we woke up this morning. We know who we are. Our souls are within us. Seats up front here, folks. Please help yourself. Okay. Symbolic of becoming an adult is the taking up of the talit. It's my pleasure to welcome Olivia's grandparents, Bob and Cheryl Canning, to the Bema to present her with her talit.
Olivia, we are all so proud of you and are blessed to have 4 generations with you. Nana told me to say that. Today you are aware of what rests on your shoulders as you are wrapped in a talit and bless the Torah. You've embraced responsibility and commitment as a radiant young Jewish woman. The 4 knots or strands of fringe physically represent the mitzvahs in the Torah and connect you to the Jewish people who have come before you and those who will be with you as you forge your own path. Gramps and I place this on you, your own talit on your shoulders to wear with pride and love, and we are so proud of you.
Hand it to her. She'll say the bracha and she'll put it on.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahita teif bat tzitzit.
It's all right if you want to hug her.
Okay.
That feels better. You can find the words to Matovu on page 172 of the Mishkan Tefillah. Matovu is drawn from the blessing of Balaam upon the people of Israel, found in the book of Numbers.
Oh
We join together on page 173 as we have a reminder that our bodies are miraculous things that we take for granted on a daily basis. And so we give thanks for just the ordinary function of everything, which in the end is not so ordinary. We join together. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware, we would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei chol basar, umafli va'asot. We continue with Elohai Neshama, which you can find on the following page. On page 175, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sech vivina lehavchin bein yom uvein laila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokif kifufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten liyaif koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavir shena me'enai u'tnuma me'afapai.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorin.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam otir Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen. We continue at the bottom of the page.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen. Have some water, do me a favor. Adonai, our God, make the words of your Torah sweet to us and to the house of Israel, your people, that we and our children may be lovers of your name and students of your Torah. We praise you, O God, teacher of Torah, to our people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, hamlamed Torah la'amo Yisrael. Take a deep breath through your nose and let it go through your mouth. On page 180, Elu Devarim.
Elu devarim she'en lehem she'or she'adam ochel perotehem. Ba'olam hazeh v'hakeren kayemet lo la'olam haba. Ve'elu hein kibud av va'em ugmelut chasadim v'hashkamat beit hamidrash sheharit ve'arvit. V'hach nasat orchim uvikor holim v'hach nasat kala uvayat hamet ve'iyun tefila bein adam lahaveru v'talmud Torah keneged kulam.
We turn to page 188 for the words of 150th Psalm. We got a fan out there. That's nice. I've never had anybody give me a yeah for a page turn before. You can stay. All right. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol hashama tehaleya, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hashama tehaleya, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol hashama tehaleya, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol hashama tehaleya, hallelujah, hallelujah. I can't help it sometimes. We turn to page 194, where Olivia leads us in Chatzi Kaddish.
Yigada v'yigada shemei rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'hayechon u'v'yamechon u'chayei zechol beit Yisrael bagala bagala u'bizman kariv v'imeru.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh shmei dekudesha brechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata.
Tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma. Amen. We rise on page 195, Baruch Hu. Stand right next to you. You may be seated. On page 195, Olivia leads us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol, hameir la'aretz, v'ladarim alecha brachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam bechokma asita, mal'a ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh ya'adecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita, yifa'arucha selah, or chadash al Sion ta'ir, v'nizke Hulanu Meira Le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMeorot.
We continue on page 199.
O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity.
We give thanks for the sages and teachers who brought us understanding of your will. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life we would turn to you and find purpose.
May the teachings of our ancestors live in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir in our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael be'ahava. We continue with the words of the Shema, an expression of faith in the unity of God, and by extension, the unity of all humanity. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kemo Malchuto Leolam Ha'ed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levavecha v'tzivarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'vlechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'sharecha Leman tizkeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, vitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim, li'od lachem le'elohim
Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem. On page 203.
Sing the song of men and women joined in the understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Micha Molcha is on the following page. Our Amidah, our standing prayer, begins on the following page. We rise together.
Umatir asuri לקדש את שמך בעולם, בשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה עשה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, ולא הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מכיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אבינו מלכנו, ומושיענו וישמיענו, ורחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור עד דור. הללויה. לדור עד דור הגיגולך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושמך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
At the top of page 211, Yismechu. At the bottom of 211,
The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week, we live under the tyranny of things of space. On Shabbat, we try to become attuned to the holiness of time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation into the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
And on page 212,
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel u'tehi l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha Baruch atah Adonai she'odecha levadecha ba'yira na'avod.
Amen. And on page 214, Olivia leads us.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations. Modim anachnu lach. For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim anachnu lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements. Modim anachnu lach. For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression. Modim anachnu lach. For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared. Modim anachnu lach. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom. Modim anachnu lach. For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose. Modim anachnu lach. We pray that we may live not by our fears but by our hopes, not by our words but by our deeds.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha lecha na'eh lehodot. We continue with Sim Shalom, which is our prayer for peace. You'll find it on page 216.
Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha. Hein v'chesed, hein v'chesed, hein v'chesed v'rachamim. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha.
You may be seated. I invite you to some quiet moments for the prayers of your heart this beautiful Shabbat morning.
Yaseh shalom, shalom bimramav, Yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom ben Ramav, Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
We turn forward in our Siddur, our prayer book, to page 244 for the service for the reading of Torah. And as we do, several people to call forward for honors. For the honor of opening our ark, I call Charlotte and Eli Calise. For the honor of carrying the Torah, Jacob Pass. For the honor of undressing the Torah, Lori Pass. We rise as the ark is opened and the Torah comes forth. Give it
Ein k'mocha b'Elohim Adonai, ein k'ma'asecha, malchutecha, malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai ilok, ve'olam va'ed, Adonai oz ve'amoitim, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Afaratanim eitiva et soncha et Zion, tivneh klamot Yerushalayim, tivneh klamot Yerushalayim, ki becha levad matachnu, melech elam v'nisa Adon olamim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai Yerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, L'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai
והתפארת והנצח וההוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה.
Aseh lechol rosh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'shtachavu v'harkocho. Adonai Eloheinu v'shtachavu v'harkocho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki
You may be seated. You got it, children. Let's go. All right. Okay. A phrase in Hebrew for you get off. It's gonna be all right. Okay. I'm gonna stash this out here for a minute, okay? Just give us a little bit of space. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. Oops. I forgot to do the one thing that I needed here, which was, okay. I can make up for that. All right. I got everything right here. Okay. Pardon me one moment. We are reading in the 9th chapter of the book of Numbers from Parshat Baha'alotcha. Right? Okay. Okay. And there we go. I got everything we need right there. Pardon me. All right. And as Olivia prepares to read from the Torah scroll publicly and to engage in the teaching of the words of Torah to our community, she steps into a line in her own family that is 4 generations deep in this congregation. And how blessed are we to have 4 generations of your family present this morning. But we also think of the hundreds and thousands of generations that look down upon you from our people's past. She steps into a tradition that goes all the way back to the days of Ezra the scribe, which is about 2,500 years ago, which is how long the Jewish people has been publicly reading and teaching Torah. So no pressure. Okay. Sorry. For the honor of the first Aliyah LaTorah, I call Cheryl Canning, and for the honor of translating that first Aliyah, Madeline Calise. Ta'amod Sarah Bracha Bat Gershon Rishona. There it is.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai hamavarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
וביום הקים את המשכן, כיסה הענן את המשכן לאוהל העדות, ובערב יהיה על המשכן כמראה אש עד בוקר. כן יהיה תמיד הענן יכסנו ומראה אש לילה, ולפי העלות הענן מעל האוהל, ואחרי כן ייסעו בני ישראל, ובמקום אשר ישכון שם הענן, שם יחנו בני ישראל.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. You can start on verse 15, and then you can do 15, 16, and 17. So you can conclude with the word camp.
On the day that the tabernacle was set up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, the tent of the pact. And in the evening it rested over the tabernacle in the likeness of fire until morning. It was always so. The cloud covered it, appearing as fire by night. And whenever the cloud lifted from the tent, the Israelites would set out accordingly, and at the spot from where the cloud settled, there the Israelites would make camp.
Before our second Aliyah, we offer a prayer of healing. You all right there? You all right? Okay. You have tissues here. If you need more, you don't have to do that. Okay? All right. Here we are. I'm right here. Our prayers this morning are with Stephen Silverstein, Dr. Sandra Rydell, Wolfie, Charlotte Dantowitz, Peter Adamson, Edith, Carol Roth, Vicky Ramos, Elizabeth Bela, the people of Ukraine who are suffering, Jose Lynn, Adam Swerdlow, Alan Miller, Arlene Pickman, Roberta Karp, Harry Glah, Yosef Halevi Benyetta, Nechama bat Elka, Lois Gordon, Lois Wilgorin, Katie Richards, Gloria Zakon, Vladimir Chaya bat Chana Beyakov, Ron Berman, John Berman, Joan Gellen, Rivka bat Marilyn. If there are others for whom we should pray for healing this morning, please speak their names aloud as my eyes meet yours.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yishepera imotenu, ekor abracha, Avotenu, bless those in need of healing with her fruach lema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May God be filled with mercy for all those in need of healing. And we say, Amen. For the honor of the second Aliyah Torah, I call Ashley Calise, and for the honor of translating Tim Calise, Ta'amod Yaakov Yosef Batzara Shenit. You can stay up here. It's all right. Everybody changes to go down. There's no hurry. Okay. Here we go. Okay, do you see where you are? Do you see where you are? I'll pee. Okay. You're on.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Al pi Adonai Yis'u b'nei Yisrael, ve'al pi Adonai Yisa Yachanu, kol yamei asher yishkon ha'anan al hamishkan Yachanu, b'cha'arich ha'anan al hamishkan yamin rabim, v'shameru b'nei Yisrael et mishmeret Adonai v'lo yisa'u, v'yesh asher yihiyeh ha'anan yamim mispar al hamishkan. Al pi Adonai yachanu ve'al pi Adonai yisa'u.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan betochenu. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
18, 19, and 20. So you're starting at, and you are finishing at eternal.
At a command of the Eternal, they made camp. They remained encamped as long as a cloud stayed over the tabernacle. When the cloud lingered over the tabernacle many days, the Israelites observed the Eternal's mandate. It did not journey on. At such times as the cloud rested over the tabernacle for but a few days, they remained encamped at a command of the Eternal, and broke camp at the command of the Eternal.
For the honor of the third Aliyah of the Torah. Oh, Olivia. I call Olivia Calise. Ta'amod Chana Suri Bat Yaakov Bat Mitzvah. Okay, you're on.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Vayesh asher yihyeh ha'anan me'erev ad boker v'na'ala ha'anan baboker v'nasa'u o yomam v'layla v'na'ala ha'anan v'nasa'u o yomayim o chodesh o yamim b'cha'arich ha'anan al hamishkan lishkon alav yachanu b'nei Yisrael v'lo yisa'u uv'he'aloto yisa'u al pi Adonai yachanu ve'al pi Adonai yisa'u et mishmeret Adonai shemaru al pi Adonai biad Moshe. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. 21 all the way through Moses.
At such times as the cloud stayed from the evening until morning, they broke camp. As soon as the cloud lifted in the morning, day or night, whenever the cloud lifted, they would break camp. Whenever it was 2 days or a month or a year, however long the cloud lingered over the tabernacle, the Israelites remained encamped and did not set out. Only when it lifted did they break camp. On a sign from the Eternal, they made camp. On sign from the Eternal, they broke camp. They observed the Eternal's mandate at the Eternal's bidding through Moses.
For the honor of lifting the Torah, I call John past. For the honor of dressing the Torah, I recall Lori past. We rise as the Sefer Torah is lifted and dressed. It's okay the way it is. Yeah, once we go down to the second one, okay? How's the back? How's the knees? Everything's good, right? So what you can do is you can press straight down on the handles. Vezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe B'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. continue with the reading of Haftarah, which is taken this morning from the book of Zechariah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher behar bin ve'im tovim ve'ratza v'divreichem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Broni v'simchi b'tzion ki hineni va v'shachanti v'torchech ne'um Adonai v'nilvu goyim rabim el Adonai bayom hahu v'hayu li le'am v'shachanti v'torchech v'yadat ki Adonai Sevaot shlachani elayich v'nachal Adonai et Yehuda chelko al admat hakodesh v'char od b'Yerushalayim haskol basar mibnei Adonai ki neor mimon kodsho. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol haolamim tzadik bechol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'osei hamdaver u'mkayim shechol devarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah ve'al havodah ve'al hanevi'im ve'al yom haShabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha b'chavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. As I mentioned earlier, the teaching of Torah has been the lifeblood and the core of our people's survival for millennia. Torah defines who we are as a people, and it raises us ever closer to our God. And so when Olivia steps into the role of our darshanit, our commentator and our teacher for this morning, she steps into a very special role as a Jewish adult.
My Torah portion is Beha'alotecha. The part we read today is in the 9th chapter in the book of Numbers. The Torah portion describes when the cloud of the Eternal covers and arises from the tabernacle. This Torah portion explains how when the Israelites were traveling from Egypt to the land of Canaan, there was protection. This protection was the cloud of the Eternal. In the daytime, the cloud provided protection, and in the nighttime, the cloud provided fire. When the cloud arose from their current campsite, the Israelites packed up their belongings and started in the path of the Eternal. They would walk until the cloud set down in a new place and make their campsite. They could be in a campsite from anywhere from 2 days to just about 1 year. An interesting part of my Torah portion was the cloud of the Eternal itself. I found it interesting that it knew when to arise, but also what direction to start in to lead our people. This was the compass of the Israelites and what protected them. You could even say they had the original GPS, a God positioning system. The protection in the daytime was the covering of the cloud, and in the nighttime the cloud changed forms to be fire. The cloud had to have some kind of intelligence or some way to tell time because it knew just as well we did what time of day it was. The movement of our cloud meant that our people had to journey onward. They would walk until the cloud set down. Moses told his people to journey at the command of the Eternal. When the cloud set down in a new place on the path to Canaan, they would rest and camp until again from the command of Moses they would move on. We might think that Moses was calling all the shots about when and how the people of Israel traveled. There's an explanation of this process in Midrash Tanchuma, a collection of ancient teachings from the rabbis. Rabbi Elazar teaches about the verse, at the command of the Eternal they journeyed. That while Moses was present with the people, it was really God that they were listening to and trusted. He proves this by using a verse from prophet Jeremiah, who delivered God's word at least 500 years after Moses. Jeremiah said, I have remembered in your favor the faithfulness of your youth, how you went after me in the desert in a land not sown. Jeremiah was telling the Israelites of his time that God remembered how their ancestors were faithful and trusting when they were in the wilderness with Moses. Rabbi Elazar teaches that although it is written in Torah that Moses had Israel journey, they really journeyed by divine command. The divine command is the eternal God, and God commanded the cloud. Rabbi Elazar understands how people really are. He fills in what they must have been thinking, even if it was thousands of years ago. He says that when Moses told them to journey, they didn't say to him, hey, where are we going? Into the desert? Well, maybe there's nothing there. They didn't ask every half a mile, are we there yet? Rather, they arose and journeyed in trustfulness. This really connects with my own life. Almost 3 years ago, my family and I moved to Texas. Austin was totally foreign to me because I had never been there before, and I didn't really know a lot about any part of Texas. I didn't even know about the part we were going to be living in. It was the same for the rest of my family. We were all in a new place we didn't know, but my parents guided my siblings and me through this new chapter of our lives. I had to have trust in my parents. Even though I didn't have any doubts, they still could have moved us to a place in the desert, which was basically what I thought of Texas before I got there. The trust I had in my parents helped me through having to leave all my friends, the synagogue, and my school. If I didn't leave my home and all that was familiar to me behind, that I would not have had the great experience of seeing how life was different in Texas. This strange place I had never imagined living in became my new home. Our ancestors trusted God in the wilderness because they had a messenger, a prophet, Moses, to lead them. They knew that Moses was trustworthy enough to deliver God's words and instructions to them. Leadership is very important when you're looking for direction in a new and strange place. I trusted my parents the same way that the Israelites trusted Moses. Who can we trust today to lead us to a better world? Well, we don't have any official prophets anymore. We have to learn to identify the people that are looking out for us in our future. In the past, figures have always arisen to lead us in our time of need. The trouble is, not everyone agrees who they are when they are with us. Not everyone trusts the vision of the leaders. If you think about global warming, the world is getting warmer because of the CO2 we put in the air. Most of it comes from industry and transportation. We're not changing fast enough to prevent some of these terrible consequences. We don't have enough trust in the people who are advocating for change. We don't have to trust everybody who comes along, but we should be smart enough to trust the people who are looking out for us and have our best interests in mind. We should all care about our ability to trust because our future is based on trust. If we don't have trust in our community and our leaders, then our society will hurt. We will be stuck in the wilderness once again. The action of trust has two sides, the trust given and the trust that is received. We all have to make an effort. It can be hard sometimes, and I will admit it's hard for me. But if we think about the greater impact of increased trust, we can all benefit from just one tiny action, especially we have to trust the people who are trying to guide humanity because they have the greatest impacts on our future and our communities. These people are trying to help us, but only if we trust. Shabbat Shalom.
May your strength increase. At this significant moment in your life, I would also like to call upon your parents, Tim and Ashley, to offer their words of blessing to you. Just like you did with your grandparents, just come over here and find the space.
Of course we're prepared. Oh my God. You did such a beautiful job. We're so proud of you. But honestly, I'm pretty sure you've been ready for this moment since you were a little girl. On Sunday when you were up here practicing, she got up here, she stood up at the mic, and she goes, "I love this." She's been ready. So it made me chuckle because it brought me right back to, you've seen the videos when you were at Cece and Grandpa's in your high chair, and you totally held court. Just talking in gibberish, hand gestures, full-on laugh breaks, like you had a story to tell. You had so much to say, and you were so full of pride and confidence. I only wish I was able to understand you. Well, today you held court again as beautifully as you led your family and friends through this special service and delivered what you have learned over the course of many years. Luckily, this time there was a little more English, a little less hand gestures, but you displayed that same pride and confidence you did almost 12 years ago.
So as you go forward in this next phase of your life as an adult in this community, we wish for you to maintain your unwavering belief in yourself. With this new and exciting challenges that await, you will have opportunities to expand your horizons. Embrace them. Always be open to try something new, even and especially when the deck is stacked against you. Diamonds are shaped by pressure. It is how we know that what we are truly capable of. You're either succeeding or learning, never failing. May you never lose your passion to pursue things that excite you. As you stood here today, it was clear to us all that you are a poised and driven individual. Remember, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. We wish for you the confidence to go fast with intention. Motivated by your strong sense of self and the wisdom to know when to rally others around you. Lastly, we hope your life is filled with learnings about yourself, the people around you, and the beauty this world has to offer. Ask lots of questions. Stand on the shoulders of those who've come before and go forward with the love and support of those around you. We are rooting for you today and for always.
Did your dad make you cry? A little bit. Okay, that's all right. We rise as we return the Sefer Torah to the Ark. That can be found on page 256. We turn to page 282. We remain standing. The words of Aleinu. You may be seated. We turn to page 294 for the words of Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish. And as we do, we remember our loved ones who have left this life in recent days and in years past at the season. As your loved one is remembered, I invite you to rise. Shloshim is observed for Harriet Aronson, the mother of Sue Major and the grandmother of Sammy and Maddie. We remember the following people whose yahrzeits occur in this week: Demetria Applebaum, Dr. Richard Arnowit, Charlotte Cherniak, Samuel Cotton, Louis Dankner, Marshall Levine, Tino Panashi, Judith Smiley, and Susan Thrope. Are there others whom we should remember this morning? We rise as one for the words of Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam almei almaya. Yitparach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei d'kudusha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush v'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shemama rabba min shamaya, V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May God, who causes peace to reign in the heavens above, bring a measure of that peace and comfort to all who grieve. And we say, amen. You may be seated. You stay right there. I do? Yes. Don't you go anywhere, young lady. All right. But I would like to call up at this point Sue Major to represent our congregation and our Board of Trustees with some special presentations to you today. I lost one of your special presentations. Pardon me. It's way deep in. Pardon me. All right, there we go. All right. Get back up. Let her get in front of the microphone.
Olivia, Kol Hakavod, well done. I am so beyond proud of you. You have no idea. I've watched this young lady grow since she was 8 years old. She was one of my first religious school students, and you have blossomed into the most mature young lady. I'm so proud of you. I had no doubt you would do an amazing job. You just blew me away. I think she blew all of us away. You were amazing today. I'm so proud of you, and it's really my honor, my privilege, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, to be up here with you and to present you with these gifts from the congregation and to tell you, shoot for those stars like you're doing. You're amazing, and I'm so proud of you. Congrats. Mazel tov to all. To you and the whole family, mazel tov.
Our closing song this morning can be found in our book. On page 345. Lechi lach. Not 345.
No, it's not. Which one is it?
It's all part of our sinister plot to give wrong page numbers. I'll be with you in 1 second. Lechi lach is actually on 341, which is like the new 345 this year. So we're fine.
To a land that I will show you. Lecha to a place you do not know. Lecha on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechilah, and I shall make your name great. Lechilah, and all shall praise your name. Lechilah, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, lechilah. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechilah.
Olivia, I'd like to call your family up here to join you. Ashley, Tim, Charlotte, Eli, come on. You've been standing right next to me all morning. Now you need distance? All right. It's like it's all over. Do I know you? Yeah, all right, come here. That's right. I'm not going to hurt you. I promise. Trust. Okay, right. We were talking a lot about trust this morning, right? There's certain forms of trust that I have too. As I was thinking about your drash this morning, when you go out into this world, there's lots of different paths that we can walk. And as your dad was saying, pressure forms us, and knowing when to go alone and when to gather people around you is very important. But there's one group of people that will always be gathered around you, and that's your Jewish family. Wherever you go, the step that you've taken today cements your place within it. Wherever you go, there is always a community to embrace you. And I'm here to tell you this morning that at my age, which is a lot more than yours, I'm always reminded how little I know about Jewish tradition and text. Because there's just so much. And so this significant first step is not an end, but a beginning. Torah, the words of Torah are likened to an ocean. And we're just getting the first drop. And so I encourage you to keep exploring, because there is so much wisdom within it, and paths for you to continue to grow on and take up your place as a leader in our Jewish community. We close out with words of blessing for you today, reserved for our sacred occasions, taken just a few chapters earlier in Numbers. The blessing of the Kohanim, the priests. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face rise towards you and grant you peace. Keni heratzon, may this be God's will, and we say, Amen. And I know how much I got some more of your favorite wine. Apparently this is her favorite wine. Oh, do I have to? Yeah, all right, so, no, it's for you and your family. I'm not taking any of that. So, we offer praise for God who creates the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Just a sip. Sit around. Just a sip. Olivia, don't make a big thing out of it. It probably tastes much better than she thinks. Already. Oh, that's some good stuff there. None for you guys. Oh. We wish you a mazel tov as we go into the social hall. Please wait a moment until we all get in there, and we'll offer motzi and then begin our repast. Mazel tov to you. Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. We'll see you inside. Shabbat shalom.